Hi, I'm Sarah Fry. Welcome to PaTTAnpod. Today's PaTTAnpod is a special episode. We are on location at Thaddeus Stevens for a student event for educators and their students that are engaging in a computer science professional development program hosted by the Computer Science and STEM Initiative at PaTTAN. Joining me to talk about their experience in computer science and STEM with their students are two wonderful educators. I have Meaghan from Westchester Area School District and Kim from Octorara. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
So I'm just going to start off and ask you, how are you engaging your students in computer science and STEM? Tell us a little bit about your class and what it's been like.
I guess I'll go first. I teach a middle school life skills program, so I have students with a variety of special abilities ranging from moderate to what one would consider severe disabilities. Prior to receiving this PD, I honestly can say I didn't incorporate CS a whole lot in my life skills program, and then I learned and I grew, and at this time it's part of our everyday school day. This year we built drones using the Build Fly Code program. So we've started from the beginning, we built them, we flew them, and now we're learning how to code them. Today, being here today with other schools kind of culminated what we've been working on in the classroom. So that's just one example of how we've integrated CS into our classroom.
And I teach a high school autism support class. I have 10th through 12th graders. And I guess I have a similar story as Meaghan. My students honestly told me that they were a bit bored with our social skills lessons, and I wanted to use their strengths and the skills that they had, and a lot of them had expressed interest in computer science. A lot of them plan to move on to college or post-secondary education, something related to computer science. So I thought it was really important that we begin to embed that into our social skills lessons. So we started with the Build Fly Code program, and that just kind of opened a lot of other doors and opportunities for the kids where I felt like they gained a lot of confidence and wanted to try other things related to computer science, like other things to code, starting a podcast, stuff like that. And it really helped me step out of my comfort zone as their teacher, because I know nothing about computer science prior to this experience.
You kind of hit on it a little bit, but I have to ask the question. We know historically students with disabilities are underrepresented in computer science and STEM, both at the K-12 level, in post-secondary, and in the workforce. Why is it so important that we engage students with disabilities in STEM and computer science learning in K-12?
Well, I think that every student has something special to offer. My students are very high functioning, and they have just shown a lot of natural skill when it comes to computer science. They have a lot of interest in it, and I think they respect the field. So I think sometimes students with special needs are underestimated in their ability to learn things like this, but when they have interest and have skills, I think they're just as capable as any other student.
Yeah, and I suppose I would pose the question right back at you, why not? So that's what came to my mind, and oftentimes I think in education we've always jumped to the assumption that students with disabilities just can't. However, they can. And a way that I like to make it accessible for students is pairing them with, we have a Best Buddies program, so pairing them with friends to help the materials and the technology be accessible for them. They learn alongside their peers rather than always from an adult. And it, like Kim said, you see this whole new level of confidence from the students, which is incredible. I have students who are nonverbal who are flying drones, which is just so cool. They do it with their friends, and then their friends will take a step back and they'll do it independently. Some may do it independently, and some might always be flying drones with a friend, but that's okay too. Like, I need some support when I'm flying drones. So yeah, I guess to answer your question, it would just be like, well, why not? Like, all students can do all things in some capacity.
I love that response, and I know that we've spent some time together in professional development, and I agree. So I think something that's been truly special for me at this specific student event is while your classrooms may look different, having teachers from other schools interact with you and interact with your students, I think more people are asking themselves that question and maybe asking their colleagues that question in their buildings. Do you have you had any experiences? I know you talked about maybe not being a computer science expert, but how has this impacted you as an educator and maybe your colleagues being a part of this program?
I think overall, just like my confidence as an educator, like if I'm going to ask my students to try something new, then I have to be willing to try something new too. And it really has just like opened like a wider lens of what we can accomplish for students with special needs, but also like for my students, they wanted to have like a mark that they left before they graduated. Since I have 10th, 11th, and 12th graders, they needed a sense of belonging and something that they felt they could have ownership to our school, but then also show other students in our building, like, look, you can do this too, and it brings a new opportunity to our school, which I think is really awesome that they want to do that.
That is so cool. Really, really cool. I would say it's also opened my eyes as an educator. Sometimes change can be a little bit scary, but jumping into this CS world has made my classroom a whole lot more exciting for everybody involved. Aside from the drones, we've also tried things like the virtual reality goggles, and when I was first learning, I had these goggles on my face for probably like 80% of the school day. So staff and students would walk in and they'd laugh. They'd be like, Mrs. Stolnis is at the beach right now, because I was trying to learn alongside my students. But it's really opened up a whole new world, and the future will be more accessible for our students because they have their hands on these tools. They have access to computer science, and there will just be so many more opportunities for them in the future, which makes me happy as their teacher.
Well, I know you have a busy day today with your students. I'll ask one last question. If there are educators still asking why instead of why not, what last bit of advice or helpful tips would you give to an educator, whether it be a general educator or someone with a special education background like you, to get excited, to get involved in their school's computer science and STEM?
I say just jump right in. Like, really, the kids will take the lead, which is really awesome to see. So if you're like willing to do something that could be a bit challenging, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
I agree. And yeah, just give new things a chance. Make learning fun. It will make your days more fun. It will make the students' days more fun. And there's so much support out there. I think that's what I had to realize as an educator myself, that I'm not doing this alone. I am not an expert in computer science, and that's okay. I can still teach it. I can still implement these tools and strategies in my classroom, and there is so much support out there at our fingertips if we welcome it into our classroom.
Meaghan, Kim, it really has been an honor to talk to you. I want to let you get back to your students and enjoy the rest of this event today. I'd also encourage our audience members, if you're interested in getting involved in professional development about computer science and STEM, or learning more about the ways that you can engage all learners in computer science and STEM, there are links available in our show notes. I would also like to thank our producer today, John Ragsdale, and I hope everybody listening or watching this episode will join us back here. Meet me at PaTTANpod again soon. Thanks.